ESPN just dropped a bombshell article about J.J. McCarthy and highlighting the Vikings' concerns for the second-year quarterback out of Michigan. We're going to talk about it on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. But I want you guys to voice your thoughts here first. Are you concerned about J.J. McCarthy? Obviously, it hasn't been good over the last couple of weeks following that big-time win in Detroit against the Lions. But how are you feeling right now? Are you out? Are you concerned with number 9? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no down below in the comments section. All right, so ESPN, they're writing up their just typical Week 12 thoughts heading into the Sunday here. And they had a whole section on J.J. McCarthy, and Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler had a lot of key insights here. Let's start off here with Jeremy Fowler. Saying if the Vikings do have concerns around their second-year quarterback, and he said the accuracy is a concern. There's no hiding from that. Balls are sailing, and that affects the entire offense. McCarthy needs to hit the layups. The Vikings will be working to help him find more consistency as a thrower. From a developmental standpoint, the team still believes in his work ethic and skill set. He's made of the right stuff, as Kevin O'Connell said Monday. Minnesota really has no choice but to work through this and help McCarthy manage the growing pains. Kind of also no duh, Jeremy Fowler, that the Vikings are going to have to work through this. Obviously, they invested in this kid. They traded up for him with the New York Jets to land him at pick number 10. So obviously they're going to want to work through this. And also it is his 5th career start. We're not trying to say any declarations on if he'll be good or bad at this point. And the accuracy concerns will be fixed. I honestly have no issues with them. I think clearly the bandage on his right hand was affecting his play. And I just think his lower body mechanics need to get fixed. But it's like, no, listen, if JJ was with, don't mean to call producer Dylan here, but if he was with the New York Jets, for example, I would have no faith in him being able to fix these, but he's with Kevin O'Connell. He's with Josh McCown. He's got a great support system around him, and he is obviously a naturally talented thrower of the football. So the accuracy concerns, I think they're going to get fixed. Don't really have too much worries from that standpoint. But this is also what Fowler said on them potentially going to Max Brosmer here, saying Carson Wentz underwent season-ending shoulder surgery, and Max Brosmer has potential, but he is an undrafted free agent. Perhaps Brosmer would get a shot if McCarthy were a middle-round pick, but I just don't see that happening in the short term. And again, no duh. The Vikings aren't going to turn it over to Max Brosmer at any time soon. Now, I think there would be a possibility where Brosmer would potentially start Week 18. I think it would have to be the Vikings pretty much lose out, and J.J. McCarthy looks absolutely horrific, where he has just been, a detriment to the Vikings offense, where they can't even, get anything going, and he looks flat out terrible. So maybe they throw him in there for Week 18, see what we have with Brosmer. But again, if you get to that point, that probably means you're going to find another quarterback this offseason, which I don't think it's going to get there. I think J.J. McCarthy will turn it around. And I'll tell you what, maybe I'm just being too optimistic. Maybe I'm hammered off the purple Kool-Aid here, everybody. But I think the J.J. McCarthy redemption story will be great. It is awesome that everybody's just ragging on this guy. The 9 jokes all over social media. I'm getting a kick out of him right now because just everybody thinks this guy's the next Zach Wilson. People think he's Christian Ponder, and everybody who is just kind of dunking on this kid after 5 career starts, where it's also he has shown flashes. People are just box score watching with J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, it hasn't been good, but he's also had some clutch game-winning drives. He's had some clutch throws. Still that Lions game, that's one of the most impressive wins by a young quarterback in the NFL. All these fan bases who are dunking on J.J. McCarthy who have a young quarterback, that win he had in Detroit is probably more impressive than most wins their young quarterback has. So I just think the redemption story will be awesome, and I just can't wait for number 9 to, quiet the noise here a little bit over the next couple of weeks. But let's talk about what Jeremy Fowler said here on the Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers BS, saying most NFL storylines pale in comparison to the Vikings' recent quarterback journey. They could have had a variation of Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and Aaron Rodgers quarterbacking the team. Those passers are combined 21-9 on the season. The Vikings' thinking, which is typically correct when a rookie quarterback is on the books, is to load up the roster with support on both sides of the ball, hoping to contend for a Super Bowl with a starter on a rookie-scale deal. As a result, the Vikings lead the league with a $344.9 million payroll, but all of this is contingent on the young quarterback showing progress. Right now, Minnesota has the next 7 games to cash in on that investment, or possibly pivot to a new plan. And I think the Vikings, bare minimum, should give J.J. McCarthy until next Thanksgiving of next season. Because that's typically he would have probably around 17 to 18, 19, 20 starts around that range under his belt, which we would have a big enough sample size. Plus, he would have a whole off season where he can continuously work on his game. So I want Vikings fans just, again, be patient with him. He just still gets ridiculed like crazy. And, again, we just got to be patient. This guy was a developmental pick. Obviously, the Vikings winning 14 games last season. Then Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and Rodgers playing good football so far this season makes this situation feel a lot worse than it actually is. But he has shown flashes. He has made some big-time throws. He's played clutch football. At least there's something that we can build off of. I mean, even going back and watching that Bears game winning drive, like, it was absolutely fantastic. He was making some big-time throws in that one. He was setting his protections very well. Bears were showing him some crazy exotics on that drive, and he was able to deliver when it mattered the most. But we'll get to more from Dan Graziano here in a second. But if you guys are subscribed to the channel and you guys are part of the Vikings Now family, just hit me with a skull down below in the comment section. Really appreciate all the real ones who have hit that subscribe button. So if that is you, give me those skulls down below. Now we'll talk about what Dan Graziano had to say about J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings here in a second. But I got to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Harry's. They have a brand new razor, which is absolutely awesome. And for a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/chat. Now I have used other razors in the past, and honestly, I was blown away the first time I used Harry's. It was one of the best shaves I've gotten in my entire life, and it completely changed how I view shaving my face. And sometimes the old razors I had, they went way too dull, way too fast. They started to irritate my neck, and plus they just cost way too much. Sometimes it was $30 for 8 refills. That's a total scam, but that's not the case at Harry's. And I was completely blown away by the Harry's Plus, as they have an advanced pivoting system to reach every corner of your face, a refined blade tech for a closer, smoother shave, and a weighted metal handle, which is actually Harry's heaviest handle ever, for added control and comfort. Now, if you guys could, for a limited time, head over to harrys.com/chat to get their Harry's Plus trial set for only $10. Now, this set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, one refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head to harrys.com/chat to claim this offer. And after you purchase, that's where you heard about them, please support our show and tell them we sent you here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports. All right, so let's dive into what Dan Graziano had to say about J.J. McCarthy. He was also included in this article with Jeremy Fowler talking about number 9 and his recent struggles with this offense. Now, this is what he had to say for the concerns. He says, they sure are, as Kevin lays it out well, and you can see some of the frustration from the other players on the offense. Justin Jefferson slamming his helmet on the sideline isn't something you see very often. Again, Graziano, maybe you had the note that Jefferson was slamming his helmet on the sideline because he dropped the pass in that possession, but obviously Jefferson is frustrated. But he also said, I think that's a big part of the concern the Vikings have, keeping everything together around McCarthy as he endures the growing pains. I don't believe they're seriously considering going to Brosmer, who, as you mentioned, probably needs even more seasoning than McCarthy. The Wentz injury has really deprived them of any serious alternative, even if they wanted to sit McCarthy to let him catch his breath. This is just effing hilarious. If you, listen, Graziano, you are out of your damn mind if you think Carson Wentz was healthy, that they would turn this over to Carson Wentz. I think that's a ludicrous take. I just think that's flat out wrong because, again, this Viking season is about developing J.J. McCarthy and finding an answer to that quarterback problem you have right now in Minnesota. So the whole benching J.J. McCarthy talk, it's just for headlines. It's just for clicks. Our Packers channel here at Chat Sports did a video about the Vikings not benching J.J. McCarthy that absolutely blew up. It's ludicrous. But also, he's only started 5 games. Is there any other quarterback in the NFL, possibly in history, that was talked about getting benched after 5 career starts? And I'm serious. I mean, you got to go back and look. I don't think there's ever been a guy after 5 career starts, even as bad as they have played, that people are talking about benching this guy for another quarterback. Also, let alone a UDFA in Max Brosmer. I think Max Brosmer will eventually be a fine backup in the NFL. I don't think he'll end up being a starter, and it's the whole cliche, or it's the old cliche. Everybody loves a backup quarterback until the backup quarterback actually has to play. And the Vikings understand that the rest of the season, really comes down to developing number 9. Because if you don't get an answer on the quarterback position this year, at least you don't give yourself enough hope heading into next season with J.J. McCarthy, then you're probably going to want to go out and find another quarterback. But we saw hope with that last drive against the Bears. He made some big-time throws. He was incredibly accurate on this drive. So I just think J.J. is a guy. He's going to have to get his confidence going. He's going to have to just settle into this offense, and we've already seen him do that at a high level where he was 6 of 8, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Also, the Bears' defense showing him some crazy looks that they haven't shown on tape the entire season. Ron Johnson actually did a good film breakdown on that drive and the looks he was getting from the Bears defense. So shout out to him, man. People out there just acting like JJ hasn't shown major flashes. And, I just think they're box score watching. I don't think they're actually watching these games. I don't think they're seeing, truly the potential that JJ McCarthy has. And, they're probably just looking at this graphic. Oh, JJ McCarthy's last 2 games, he's 0-2. His completion percentage sucks. He hasn't been playing good football. That is very true, but we have seen the potential on full display. So I think he's going to turn it around, and I'll tell you what, everybody, I'm going to be unbearable when he does turn it around. I'm going to be a problem, and I can't wait to be a problem. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sure all of you guys that believe in J.J. McCarthy will do the exact same. But big-time matchup with the Green Bay Packers this weekend in Lambeau Field. If you guys could predict the score for me down below, Vikings versus Packers, and we'll get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's go Vikes.